The Witcher 3 next gen version is right around the corner, with it releasing by the end of 2022, or, well, in CD Projekt RED's words, Q4 2022. Now, this next gen release of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt has had many delays, so it's had lots of ups and downs, and throughout all of this we've not actually really got that much news, to be honest. We do know that it will be one of those classic next gen upgrades with the improved FPS, some enhanced graphics and ray tracing, and then we also know that there is going to be a bit of extra DLC. Now, I have already done loads of videos covering what to expect, but in this video we're going to be going over 5 reasons why you should be hyped for The Witcher 3 Next Gen Edition. But just before we do get into all of that, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any content just like this. Are you interested in starting your very own Discord server, but you just simply don't know where to start? Well, I've got you covered. I've been using Discord daily for many years now, and in that time I've created and managed many servers, some of which have achieved over 5,000 active members. I've worked with YouTubers with over 150,000 subscribers and even cryptocurrency organizations. So whatever the server may be, I can confidently say that I'll be able to create and even manage an active server for your community. These servers will include really popular features and a very professional design. And if you want the best of the best, I can even throw in your very own custom Discord bot. So if you are interested in getting started or have any questions, then hit the link in description or the pinned comment that will take you straight to my Fiverr page. So, the first reason that you should be hyped for this next gen version of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is the increased FPS. With this remastered version, you are going to be able to get 60 FPS instead of 30 FPS. Now, if you have just played on console, then chances are you're not actually going to be that familiar with the difference, especially if you are on a PS4 and Xbox One. And now, 30 FPS isn't terrible, it's definitely a playable experience on a story game, but 60 FPS will make it such a better experience, and it's only until you experience 60 FPS that you realise what you've been missing out on. It really will change the way you play the game. We've seen this on many other games such as Assassin's Creed and GTA 5, where they have increased the FPS for the next gen version, and the same is going to happen here on The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. The game overall will just feel so much smoother to play. Now, chances are there will be an option for 30 FPS at 4K. It tends to be that you can get 60 FPS for 1080p and usually 1440p, and then if you want to play at that 4K resolution, you have to put it down to 30 FPS, but 30 FPS is still a playable experience, so there's not really any issues there. So the second reason that you should be hyped for this next gen version of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is ray tracing. Now, ray tracing will make the shadows and the lighting of the game just look so much better, and chances are to use ray tracing you will have to put the game down to 30 FPS, or they will have a version where with ray tracing you can unlock the FPS where it's capped at 60, but it will go anywhere in between, so then you'll be looking at around 40 to 50 FPS when using ray tracing, but that's not really confirmed. So ray tracing will all in all just improve the graphics of the game and just make it feel like a newer game, and already the graphics for a 2015 game, the graphics are really impressive. The game already looks really nice, and having ray tracing is just going to make it seem way more immersive and just way more atmospheric, if that makes sense. It's just going to make the experience a lot better. Now, some people aren't really a fan of ray tracing, and chances are you will be able to turn the ray tracing off, as that will increase the FPS quite significantly. So it's really not an issue if you're not a fan of ray tracing, or if you want increased FPS, then you can just turn off that ray tracing and get the higher frames per second. It is also likely that the ray tracing will be part of the 4K resolution, and then that will put the FPS down to 30 FPS, but as I said, we'll have to wait and see how that will work. So the third reason to be hyped for this next gen version of The Witcher 3 is the Netflix themed Witcher DLC. Now, this DLC is inspired by the Netflix's Witcher series. This has been completely confirmed by CD Projekt RED, and it will be free on not only the next-gen consoles, but it will also be on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and even Nintendo Switch. So that is really nice to see. Those previous generation consoles will still be getting this new DLC. Now, I have done a previous video going over what we could expect from this DLC, and a link to that can be found in the description below. But it is likely just to be a few sort of cosmetic items, I think. But still, for a 2015 story game to still be getting this kind of support is really impressive. This DLC will also be completely free, so you won't have to pay any sort of money to be able to get these. they will just be a free downloadable update for The Witcher 3. So this will basically give more of a reason to go back and play The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt again. If you are on a next gen console, then you'll be getting that increased FPS, you'll be able to have ray tracing if you want it, and you'll also have some new DLC. This might not really be content to play through as such, but it will be a reason to go back onto the game and take a look at what it is. A lot of the DLC we've had before is actually really cool, so it'll be nice to be able to get some new stuff. But like I did say, we're really unsure on what that could be at the moment. So the fourth reason to be hyped for The Witcher 3 Next Gen Edition is mainly focused on those PS5 players, but it's definitely still something to be had in there. And this is the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers of the DualSense controller. You'll notice when you are playing a PS5 version of a game, the chances are you're going to be having those adaptive triggers. Now these can be turned off, some people really don't like these, and I can understand that, and that can be completely turned off in the PlayStation 5 settings, so there's nothing to worry about there. But this will basically make it seem much more immersive. Now I'm not really too sure about the triggers so much, since you don't really tend to use the triggers as much in The Witcher 3, but you will be getting that haptic feedback, which just makes the game way more immersive and just makes you feel like you are with Geralt. So it'll be really nice to be able to put that DualSense controller to use in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, because as of right now, you could use a PS4 controller and there would be no difference. So it'll be really nice to be able to put that PS5 controller to use with The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This is a game that could definitely make use of it. It'll be a really nice experience, but like I said, you can turn it off if you don't want it. I do believe also if you were to connect the PS5 controller to PC after this update has released, then chances are it should work. It tends to vary on what games that'll work. I've played a few games where the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers will work on PC, but it really seems to depend on the game, and I'm not sure if you'd be able to turn this off, so that's something worth noting. But of course on PC you could just stick to mouse and keyboard if that's what you prefer. Now on the Xbox side of things, there's a bit of sort of haptic feedback in a way, but there's nothing really compared to the PS5 controller, but there will still be a bit more improvement with the controller, so that'll be nice to see. So the final reason that you should be hyped for this next gen version of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is having a reason to go back and play the game again. There is a new game plus feature which is already in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, so it's going to be really nice to be able to use that new game plus feature to play this next gen version of the game, and that is personally what I'll be doing. I have been playing through the game on PC at the moment, and I will be done by the time this next gen version does release. Now you could of course just start completely from scratch when this next gen version does release, and that's always an option, but your save will cross over to this next gen version, so if you wanted to do a new game plus, then that's something I really recommend doing. You'll be able to keep some of your stuff, and you'll also be able to experience this next gen version right from the start. And of course, it just gives any player a reason to go back and play The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt all those years later, since there will be some new DLC, and of course it'll be nice to try out those new features. So there you go, those are the 5 reasons that you should be hyped for this next gen version of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. If you have any other reasons you're hyped, then put them down in the comments and I'll be sure to reply to all of those. If you did enjoy this video though, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any content just like this. And in the link in description you can find a link to setting up your very own Discord server, and you can also find a link to my other channel where I do Red Dead Redemption 2 and GTA 5 content. So, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.